Alright, here I am again. Last week I gave you the top 10 movies I hate that everyone else loves. Now here's your revenge. Top 10 movies I like that everyone else doesn't seem to like. Now first off, before we begin, let me say, I don't love these movies. I know they have their flaws, they're not masterpieces, but I actually enjoyed them. I'm happy I took the time to watch them, and I agree they're not the best things I've ever seen, but I appreciate them for what they are. I enjoyed them. I didn't think it was a waste of time seeing them, and just my opinion. So, I know some people are going to come in the comments saying, oh, this is a crappy movie, yada yada yada. Okay, first off, let me say, it's my opinion. And I don't want, oh, it got bad reviews, everyone hates it. No, I already went over that in my last video, that critics and audience disagree all the time, and just because a lot of people think something doesn't mean I have to agree with them, because that's another stupid argument. I explained that last week. And just remember, this is my opinion, and maybe I'm able to enjoy something that you can't, like you're able to enjoy something that I can't. So without further ado, here are the top 10 movies I like that everyone else doesn't like. Number 10. Tron. This one movie is something I was never really crazy in love with, even as a kid, but I liked it, because some people have, actually a lot of people have told me it's a dumb, not a very great movie, and I agree it's not the best film I've ever seen, but I actually enjoyed Tron. I thought it was like, it had an interesting idea, because this movie came out at the time when arcades were really popular back in the 80s, so they wanted to make a movie like what it would be like inside an arcade game. And the way they have it was like the people who you play as, it's like a slavery for like some other characters. People who control the game are like the masters, and the players play as are the slaves, which I thought had an interesting idea. Like, their way of slavery was very unique and interesting. Funny how this is by the same company that made Wreck-It Ralph, which had slavery totally different. Well, it wasn't even slavery in Wreck-It Ralph. And also, like, the effects, like, the costumes and effects were just, like, so different. Like, they had, like, I don't think any film has done something like that before. It was, like, they were really creative with those costumes. And the games they were in, they were so creative. I will admit it was stupid how the bad guys were red, but they had blue motorcycles, and the good guys were blue, but they had red motorcycles. That was dumb. They did fix it in the 2010 movie, but that's a different story. And, like, the way they mix sometimes, like, hand-drawn animation into the film, I agree it wasn't, like, kind of weird, but the way they did it could be good at times. Like that one scene, like when we saw like the little like cartoon robots. And I like how the bad guy was like a big beam pencil. Like, that's different. I like how this movie was different, especially for Disney of all people. Like I said, I don't love Tron. I know it has its flaws. Like, the characters aren't really that interesting. They don't have a whole lot of depth to them, but like the story, the effects is so unique and entertaining. Like, also the action scenes, like how they have like that big flying thing that has like the two claw leg things. I forget what those are called. And the way they like throw those like donut disc things was cool. The motorcycles were awesome. Like, each game was unique in its own way. And the way they had slavery was so much different than a lot of things I've seen in my life. Number 9. Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. When it came out, I think it was at the time DreamWorks, like when DreamWorks first started, they wanted to like rival Pixar and Disney. More Pixar, but also wanted to rival Disney because I'm not sure why, because Kassenberg used to work at Disney. Maybe he wanted to become better than his teachers. I guess that's why. But this is like, what I thought interesting was this at the time when DreamWorks was just starting. So if we compare it to DreamWorks movies today, it's so much different. And there was even going to be like a little like mini like whole like, not mini, like 7 movies, like each one based on the 7 seas. But since The Road to El Dorado was a failure, they had to cancel it. And this film, I love how creative they are. Like each of the 7 seas is different. There's ice, there's like the sirens, there's like that big fish who's they thought was an island, but just a giant fish. Eris, she has to be one of DreamWorks' best villains in my opinion. Like how creative they are with her. Like they just like go all out. They don't hold back on her, which I love. Like not only is she menacing, but with her voice is great, and like her powers. Each time she uses her powers, it's just beautiful. Like that one scene when she's gonna trick that one guard, she doesn't just transform into a clone of Sinbad. No. She makes a puppet of Sinbad, goes into it, takes it down. The one scene when she's taking a bath on like the galaxy, that was really creative. And how she controlled the Celestials. Like there was like a scorpion, there was a sea monster. Like Eris is just, she was easily the best part of the movie. Besides Sinbad, his friend, the lady, and the dog, a lot of the characters were pretty one-dimensional, but I still thought they were likable. Like the big black guy with the daggers, the crazy guy who just like jumps around, and then there was like that guy who had like 50 weapons. Like they had like the weapons weren't allowed, so he had to be like, take your weapons out. It's like it took him like 10 minutes to get all those weapons out, and when it was finally done taking them out, it was time for his team to go, which I thought was really funny. And the music, like the music in the sirens scene, I thought that music was really good. It makes me wish that DreamWorks would make more movies like with like this or Rise of the Guardians instead of like generic comedies about animals that talk. Number 8. Treasure Planet. I remember when this movie first came out, like it was a bomb at the box office. Like it was mixed with reviews and not a lot of people talk about it today. But when I saw it, and I enjoyed it. Like Tron, it was unique for Disney. They took the old Treasure Island story, but made it like futuristic. Jim, he has like this futuristic surfboard, which was awesome. And I like how like they make it feel like it's pirates, but in space. Because sometimes when they mix that classic fantasy stuff with sci-fi, it doesn't go well. But here, I thought it was really good. And this came out at the time, like in the early 2000s, when hand-drawn animation was losing a lot of popularity in film-wise. But here, like the way they mixed the hand-drawn animation and the computer animation, it made me feel like I was in their world. I'll admit the pink glob was kind of annoying. And the robot guy, he was funny and annoying both. The lobster guy, I wouldn't say he was the best Disney villain out there. I didn't really remember much about him because he wasn't, in my opinion, not a very great villain, but it's been a while since I've seen the movie. But I still thought it was a really fun film. A little like gold planet thing they had, like how it had like the projector, that was really creative. Like the map, I think that was the map at least. And a planet full of treasure. And Long John Silver, I like how his arm could bring out knives, like cooking knives, but then in battle mode. That was really cool. Like I love the original Treasure Island book. It's one of my favorite books. So the way Disney took their take on this, like making it feel different, but also like the original book, was really well done. Number 7. The Karate Kid 2010. Now, before anyone says it, I know there's going to be an idiot coming in the comments saying, "Oh, you're an idiot, the old one's way better." Yes, I love the old one. I agree it's much better than the new one. I agree, but that doesn't mean the new one is bad, okay? Because so many people use the excuse, "Oh, the original's better, the remake's crap." No, that's not always how it is. There has been remakes that have been better than the originals. What I liked about this Karate Kid was just like, how it got more serious than the original, because bullying can be really bad. Like the one scene, like when he's fighting the bully, I like how it's not just like a punch down and then a push down and that's it. No. Jaden Smith, I forget his character's name in the movie, he wants to stand his ground, but he's easily beat up. They take their time with it. Like in the original, they just like have Johnny, I think that was his name, push the kid down and that's it. But for this one, I like how they took their time. And like the one scene when the bullies are beating him up, I like how it's taken seriously, because bullying can be a scary thing, especially at that age. And what I also like how, because Jaden, I think, was the character was 12 in the movie, so he's at that age when teens are pretty negative. Him going through this big change, moving, and bullies is a lot for him to take in. The way they portrayed it was really good. Even though they didn't really explain why they had to move, they didn't explain that from what I remember. And let me say, I love Jackie Chan. I love him. He's just one of my favorite actors. He's funny, he's nice, he's smart, he's talented, he's brave. And him here was just, he was great. Like, pick up your jacket. The shots in this film were beautiful. Like, the one scene when they're training on the Great Wall, when he walks into the dojo and there was like that giant class, like they were all doing the same punches and kicks. That scene was really well shot. Though in my opinion, the best scene was the part when the lady was controlling the snake. That one scene alone was just beautiful. Like, I wish they gave out mini awards like best scene in movies, because scenes like that deserve a mini award. I've seen horrible films, bad movies, but even some of them have at least like one beautiful moment. And that one scene in The Karate Kid 2010 when the lady is controlling the snake, there's no dialogue. She just focused on the snake, what she's standing on. I forget what she was standing on, but that one scene alone just was beautiful. And even tied into the story. Because in the original, they just have him like, wash on, wash off, which I like. I like how in this one, like when he's like putting his jacket up, but this time, like, he's like, oh my god, I learned Kung Fu. Like, yes, it should have been called the Kung Fu the Kung Fu Kid, and Justin Bieber doing the soundtrack. Yuck. But I still enjoyed the film. I'm glad I was able to see it in theaters. The romance was but I do like how this girl, like, she had things going on in her life. She had, like, she loved music, but her parents could be a little strict at times. And the final battle between Jaden Smith and the bully felt like it was well built up. Now, I'm not saying I like this movie better than the original. I just thought it was a good film that should have got more credit than what it got. Number 6. Terminator Genisys. If you know me, I love the Terminator movies. I've seen all except Salvation. I'm excited for Dark Fates. And this one I also saw in theaters, and I gotta admit, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it. What I did like about it was that, I like how it showed that Terminators are able to age in their own kind of way. Like, I think they live longer, but they age in their own kind of way. And how they showed that. And also it had a different approach. Like, instead of trying to kill John Carter, which they failed multiple times, what if they try to, control him? Like, send a bot back, not to kill him, but to, take over his body, which I thought was an interesting idea. I agree, the main two humans, they weren't that interesting, but I like how they had a strong relationship with becoming friends. And the ending when Arnold got the liquid metal over him, how he's updated like that was cool. And one scene I thought was really well done was this part when T-800 was fighting his younger self. That was great. I love it when they mix, when an actor's playing two parts, but then they combine it like that. I know they get a stunt man or a stunt woman for the other part, but here it was just so cool how they were punching each other, the earth's going down, using the environment around them to beat each other up. I love that one moment. And shows how much Arnold has aged since the original film. And the T-800 here, I thought he was cool because it shows that the T-800 from the T2 wasn't the only one that existed. And the way John Carter was in his Terminator form was cool, how he had the human skin and it would just I think it would go away. He had metal, but it would come back. It wasn't exactly like the T-1000 or the female robot from the third one. I forget her name, but it was really cool how they did that style for him. Number 5. Hancock. I love Will Smith. I really do love Will Smith, but that's not the reason I like this movie. What I liked about this movie was that it had it had a unique superhero idea. What if instead of being a happy fun guy that everyone loves? What if he's a lazy asshole that we all hate? And that's what Hancock is. He's lazy, he's drunk, he's selfish, everyone hates him. However, like the way they handled it was good, like him starting off as an asshole but slowly becoming a better person. I liked that. The family that helped him, I liked how each thing's going on, like, you know, the dad at his work, the son with bullies, and the mother trying to take care of her family. That was really well done. And everyone later on accepted Hancock, shows that he's not all bad. And the origins of superheroes were interesting here, because like when we saw the mom was also a superhero, and she was Hancock's ex-wife. I saw that they used to be gods. And if I recall correctly, superheroes were inspired by gods and other characters like that, so it was cool how they added that in. However, I do agree, like him being closer to her means him losing his powers, which I thought was stupid. Shouldn't he already have lost his powers sooner? And how come she didn't use her powers to help people sooner too? Maybe she wanted to live a normal life, stay away from the superhero stuff from what happened before. Still, I thought Hancock was a fun movie. It had funny moments, like when he threw the whale back into the ocean, or like when he's like, you know, burned up around the children. And Will Smith, he did a brilliant job as Hancock. I love Will Smith. I'm happy I was able to check this movie out. I didn't see it in theaters, but I still thought it was a fun film that deserved more credit for what it was done. Even the one part at the end when he's fighting the bad guys and he's losing his powers, he still refuses to stay down. He wants to keep helping people, and how the dad comes in and helps Hancock shows that how much Hancock has changed. It's not explained how he got the stuff on the moon, though, the logo on the moon, though. I'm guessing Hancock can breathe in space and stuff like that, or what he used to do that, but still, I thought it was a fun movie. Call me asshole one more time. That quote's also hilarious. Number 4. The Punisher 2004. When I watched this movie, I was expecting it to be pretty mediocre, but I ended up really enjoying it. The main thing about this movie was like how dark and violent it was. I loved how it kept that, like it was R-rated, and because the Punisher was made to be a dark, edgy character, so making it R-rated, making it violent, making it dark was just so great to fit his character. The one scene when his family was killed, that was very well portrayed, like his anger, how violent it was, how disturbing it was. I love that one scene, and how he became the Punisher. And also, like, you know, how, like, the people he's living with in the apartment area, lady had problems with her husband, and the fat guy and the skinny guy were outcast because people thought, oh, they're different, they're weirdos, but they were able to become friends, like, you know, the Punisher helped them, which was good. And like, I like how the skinny guy, the skinny nerd guy, was able to stand up for Frank despite the bad guys torturing him. I thought it was kind of dumb how the mom saw a movie every Thursday. Like, I'm a big movie guy, but I don't go to the movies that often. Like, I like taking breaks in between, so that was dumb. John Travolta being the villain, nothing against John Travolta, I like him. I don't think him being a villain was a great idea, and his performance to me wasn't brilliant. But however, I do love like how how they kept it violent and dark, and the theme, like, you know, Castle's Loneliness. That's a beautiful music that adds on to the emotion. This is a really underrated film in my opinion. If it was released today, I think it would just, no one would care about it. But when it came out, it was able to keep that its underrated gem thing. Like, it's hard to explain, but I'm happy it came out at that time, because now today some people consider it an underrated gem. Like, I don't love it like how some people say it is, but I enjoy it, and I agree it's definitely an underrated film. Number 3. Speed Racer. Most anime movies, especially by Hollywood, that are in live action suck. They really, really suck. But this Speed Racer movie, I enjoyed. Like, what I liked about it was just, like, you know, the effects were dazzling. I felt like I was in there with them, like, driving the cars. Like, you know, each car was different. They, like, kept, like, the Mach 5's power and other cars' powers. Like, some cars had, like, blades coming out of their wheels. One had like maces. And there was that one that attached to the bottom, like ripped out the bottom part of another car. I love the classic Speed Racer cartoon. I used to watch it now and then with my folks. Thought it was a fun show. And this movie I thought did a good job at following the classic cartoon, or an anime. I think it's an anime. Yeah, I think Speed Racer is an anime. So sorry if I triggered some people by saying cartoon. Characters seemed in character, like Speed was pretty cool. Racer X being Speed's brother. Trixie, the love interest, but also can stand up for herself. Spritle and Chim Chim were funny. Like the one scene when the Chim Chim's on the Segway, that was hilarious, really cute. I do agree at the end, like after the evil robot broke up the Mach. Was it the Mach 5 or Mach 6? It was one of them. He shouldn't have been able to drive anymore, so the power of love and friendship was done. But still, I thought it was a cool scene how he just passed the checkpoint, checkered flag, and before Speed and Trixie kissed, it popped, and Spritle's like, warning, this may be really like, it was funny, it was epic, and the part, Gregory, the actor who was I think he was in Ninja Assassin, he did a good job as Gregory. I think that was the name of Speed's rival. The fight scenes, I like how they kept it funny for kids, but cool for older people, and how colorful it was. It was a really well done film in my opinion. Colorful effects, fun characters, cool action scenes. Yeah, I liked this movie. I don't see why it got so much hate, but anime films, especially by Hollywood, tend to have a bad reputation. I think Speed Racer was an anime, at least. It probably was, but I'm not sure. I think it was. Number 2. Spider-Man 3. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, Kush, I thought you hated this movie. Yes, I did, but after rewatching it and seeing some of the qualities it has, I changed my mind. I enjoy Spider-Man 3. I like it. And the things I like about it is that, well, I'm going to say Venom was trash. That is for sure, Venom was trash. And Peter Parker dancing like this, I thought that was weird. However, I still had things that I liked about this film. First off, Sandman. Yes, he was too nice, a lot different from his comic counterpart. But the way they handled it here was well done. Like how he loves his wife and daughter, he's made mistakes, things that he regrets doing, so his wife hates him, but he still loves him and wants to help his daughter. And the Birth of Sandman part, like how I mentioned with the Karate Kid movie, like the Birth of Sandman, that one moment was just beautiful. It deserves its own mini award. Like there was no dialogue, the effects were beautiful. And another thing I liked about this movie was like how Peter Parker part when he's full of rage and like revenge when the symbiote takes him over. It's nicely done. He shows that he's a different person. He's mean to Mr. Dickovich. He hits MJ and realizes that it's turning him into something different. And Harry Osborn, he doesn't have any love for Peter Parker anymore. I'm full of revenge. Even though when the new Goblin, which a lot of people thought was Hobgoblin apparently, but I guess it wasn't, picked up Peter Parker, and Peter Parker just uses powers when he's on in his suit. I thought that was done oh, you're just going to show your Spider-Man now? That you don't even know that's Harry Osborn. Though that was a good fight when they first fought, and Hobgoblin, or New Goblin, some people would call him both, was able to change. And the final battle, even though I agree Venom was trash in the movie, the final battle with Venom and Sandman against Spider-Man and New Goblin was great. The giant Sandman and how he burnt the sand to turn into glass, then shattered it. That was cool. Even though I do agree it was a dick move for Peter to kiss Gwen Stacy like that. One scene that was a dick move, and he just didn't feel any remorse for it. And how Harry Osborn was slowly getting his memories back, and the Goblin was messing up his head. That was good. So Spider-Man 3, well, I agree, nowhere near as good as the first two with Tobey Maguire, which the second one was amazing. I also loved the first one. The third one, I do agree, not as good as the first two, but in my opinion, still a movie worth watching and enjoying. And the number one movie I like that everyone else doesn't seem to like is X-Men: The Last Stand. The first thing I want to say about what I like about this movie was how it handles its diversity. Like its diversity is like really different compared to other things. Like I like how it shows like how yes, the mutants are able to go to work, but they still are rejected because they're different. Like how some people based on their race or gender. And if you know me, I'm a huge X-Men fan, but that's not the main reason I like this movie. I like how it shows that diversity I just mentioned, but I also like how it shows that Jean, how even though she's nice and caring, even she can get possessed by the Phoenix. In the comics, like, you know, they built it up better in the comics and 90s cartoons, but here I did like how it was done. How I like how it was also Logan who had to stab Jean in the end, which was sad, but also it was like accurate to the comics how Logan stabbed Jean like that. Sad moments. And what else I like about it was funny how that scene when Juggernaut was chasing Shadowcat. I love that scene. Like, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. So good if he became a meme. Charles' death, I recall Charles Darden died in this movie, so that death part was really sad. The mutants are not hiding anymore, they're going against the humans. The Mutant Brotherhood, Magneto assembles all those other villains. And well, not exactly villains, they're just like anti-heroes like he is. And they even got Juggernaut, even though they made Juggernaut too calm in this movie, but still, like, the Juggernaut bitch scene was well done. And even Magneto feared Jean's powers. Like in the comics, Phoenix was much more powerful than Magneto was. Also, when Mystique lost her powers, Magneto, he still wanted to love her, but couldn't because his mind was so fought on, I hate all humans. And he's like, you were so beautiful. Like, you know, now it's getting to him that now that the person you love is human now. But he's just like, these are my motives. I have to go by them. Goodbye. The final battle too was awesome, like the team standing in a straight line, taking on the other enemies, like the one part when Wolverine kicks the guy in the balls and he's like, grow those back. Like Storm, Colossus, the team there together has sad moments, cool moments, funny moments. Yeah, X-Men The Last Stand. Not the best of the X-Men films, but definitely better than some of the other ones. Well, there you guys have it. Those were the top 10 movies I like that everyone else doesn't seem to like. Remember, this is all just my opinion, and feel free to share your opinions in the comments below. Like, if you enjoyed these films, great. If you don't enjoy them, that's good too, but just remember, please don't rant out on me. This is just my opinion, okay? Because people say, no, that's stupid, no, that's stupid. Just feel free to share your opinions. Maybe I can enjoy something that you can't, or you can enjoy something that I can't, like how I did with the last video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you have an idea for my show, go down there to the comments or to the email right up there. Thank you again for watching and have a great day. Peace.